I want you to think about something for a second. When you were 8 years old, who was the first person you told when something exciting happened in your life? Maybe you got full marks, maybe someone complimented you, maybe you made a new friend. For most of us, it was our parents. Back then, they knew everything, who we liked, who we hated, what scared us, what made us cry. But अचानक से ना something strange happened. You turn 18, 22, 23, 25, 30, and suddenly the people who raised you don't really know what's happening in your life anymore. They know where you work, but not what keeps you awake at night. They know what you ate, but not what you're struggling with. They know you're busy, but they don't know who you've become. And maybe the saddest part is nobody talks about how it happened. Because nobody actually decides to stop talking. It just happens. Slowly, silently, one conversation at a time. Most people think relationships break because of one big moment, one huge argument, one dramatic incident. But that's rarely true with parents. The distance usually starts with small moments. Moments nobody remembers. वो छोटे moments जो किसी को शायद याद भी नहीं है. You come home stressed. You try explaining what's bothering you, and instead of feeling understood, you feel dismissed. You say, I'm exhausted. And they say, exhausted? Wait till you have real responsibilities. You talk about anxiety. They talk about how tough their generation had it. You share a dream. They immediately point out the risks. And after enough of these moments, you stop trying. Not because they are bad parents, not because you don't love them, but because something inside you starts saying, छोड़ो ना यार, रहने दो. I think रहने दो has ended more conversations than any argument ever had. Because arguments at least mean people are trying. Silence means they've stopped. क्या तुमने कभी notice किया है? Most adults don't stop talking to their parents. They just stop telling them certain things. You stop talking about your relationships. You stop talking about your fears. You stop talking about your mistakes. You stop talking about your mental health. You stop talking about the things that actually matter. And slowly, you create two versions of yourself. The version your parents know and the version you're actually living. So when they call, you give them the headlines. हाँ मम्मी, काम बढ़िया चल रहा है. हाँ, अरे खाना खा लिया मैंने. हाँ, सब ठीक है. या अरे जिम जा रहा हूँ, अच्छा खाना खा रहा हूँ, टाइम पे सो रहा हूँ. हाँ, फ्रूट्स भी खा रहा हूँ. सब बढ़िया तो चल रहा है. अच्छा चलो ठीक है, मैं बाद में बात करता हूँ. मगर वो तुम्हारी असली जिंदगी नहीं है. That is just the edited version. And after years of doing this on a regular basis, you look at your parents and realize they know your schedule, but they don't know your thoughts. And somehow that feels lonely for everyone involved in this entire process. मुझे लगता है कि माँ बाप और बच्चों के बीच में सबसे बड़ी मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग ये है कि माँ बाप सोचते हैं कि बच्चे की मदद कर दो, उसे प्यार कहते हैं. मगर बच्चे सोचते हैं कि प्यार वो है कि हमें समझा जाए. So, and because of all of this miscommunication, at the end of the day, the children says, I'm stressed, leave me alone. And the parents, being parents, immediately starts giving solutions. The parent thinks, I'm helping. But the child thinks, you're not listening. The child says, I just need somebody to understand. The parent hears, my advice isn't good enough. And both people leave the conversation frustrated. Not because they don't love each other, but because they are speaking different emotional languages. One is trying to fix, the other is trying to be heard. And neither realizes what's actually happening. You know, something happened to me a few years ago. I was sitting with an old relative and he said something I'll never forget. When children are young, parents are the center of their world. But when children grow up, parents become a small part of their lives. And honestly, that's really hard to hear. But it's true. Think about it. जब तुम छोटे होते हो, तुम्हारी पूरी जिंदगी तुम्हारे माँ बाप के अराउंड ही रिवॉल्व करती है. And gradually your life expands. You grow up, new friends, school, tuitions, colleges, career, relationships, शादी, बच्चे, goals, responsibilities. Your world becomes bigger. But your parents' world? उनका क्या? Their whole world is still about you. And that's why they ask you too many questions. That's why they call you. That is why they worry about you. Not because they are trying to control you, but because you're still the biggest part of their lives, even when they've become a small part of your lives. That's a painful truth most of us don't like admitting. I don't think enough people talk about how tough and lonely parenting can become. Imagine spending 20 years being needed every single day. Every day, someone needs your help, your advice, your support, your attention. And then one day, they don't. And that's supposed to be a good thing because it means you raised them well. But it can still hurt. A lot of parents don't know how to say, I miss talking to you. So instead, they say, "Beta, ghar kab aoge?" They don't know how to say, I miss being part of your life. So they call for no reason. And sometimes the thing that sounds annoying to us is actually love wearing a different outfit. Maybe your relationships with your parent is not perfect. Maybe there are things they still don't understand. Maybe there are conversations you avoided for years. Maybe there are wounds that haven't healed. This video is not saying that every parent is right. And it's not saying every child is wrong. It's saying something much simpler. Most families don't struggle because there is no love. They struggle because nobody knows how to express it. And the scary thing about life is, we always think there is more time. More calls, more dinners, more conversations, more chances to say what we mean. Until one day, there isn't. One day your parents call you for the last time. And you won't know it's the last time. One day they'll ask you a question that annoys you. And years later, you'll wish you could ask it again. So if there is love still there, don't wait for the perfect conversation. Start with small one. Call them, ask about their day, tell them something real, even if it's uncomfortable. Because maybe the goal isn't to agree on everything. Maybe the goal is simply this, to make sure the people who love us the most don't become strangers to our inner world. Well, thank you for watching this video, guys. And I would like to ask you, what's the one thing you've always wanted your parents to understand about you? Write it down in the comments. And if this video made you think of someone, please share it with him, because you never know which conversation might become the one you're grateful that you had. Thank you.